All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to MaxSpeedTV. Feels like deja vu. We were just here just a few minutes ago on MaxSpeedTV with a dirt race, but we're here now with the Northwest Xfinity. This is the Northwest Xfinity Series, so apologize. We have the wrong logo up there, so we will get that switched out real fast. Do apologize. We've been working on the overlays, and I flat put the wrong logo in. But we do want to go through all the sponsors real fast to make all of this possible here on the MaxSpeedTV side of things. Of course, we have SimSpeedShop.com, HRE Motorsports, Elite 7 Racing, Virtual2Reality.tv, Dirtco Media House, and Ohio IndyCar League. And a big shout out to all the sponsors on the racing side of things that are bringing you the Walls Beard Co., Cedarwood Beard Balm 125 here tonight. Two divisions of Highway Equipment Company. One of them is Highway. The other one is New Leader. And we will have some onboard cameras for both of those great companies here tonight, as well as Sanctuary Studios. We will have an onboard driver with that one as well. So we'll go on board with them here during pacing once we go through your HRE Motorsports starting grid. But again, we are here with the Northwest Xfinity Series at Atlanta Motor Speedway. And without further ado, obviously, we want to introduce our other broadcaster here with us tonight, and that is KR Stolfus. So welcome once again to the booth, KR.
Oh, man, I tell you what, I get excited about doing all these broadcasts here at MaxSpeedTV. Not to mention doing it with you, Charles. It's always a good time.
Definitely, and I do expect to see great racing here. We've seen a few people spin out,
Wait, hold on. A few people?
Okay, so we've seen quite a few as we're watching a couple right now spin. They are airborne big time as we're watching from the blimp, and we may need some paramedics after that one because that car is obliterated. I don't think I've seen a car flip like that since maybe, I believe it was Ryan Newman went through the infield at Daytona one time and ended up tearing that car up. But back to what we were saying, a few cautions or a few spins here. This track is very, very slick with this fixed setup. So we have seen a lot of cars getting into the walls. We're still seeing them. But I think they may be pushing it to try to push their limits right now. Whereas come race time, they are going to kind of scale that back a little bit, and we may not see as many spins, but we very well could see a few cautions here tonight.
You know, that is actually entirely how I spent my time practicing, whether it's in hot laps or whatever you want to call it, right before a race. I would push the limits. I would do everything I could to exceed or find where the car was out of control. And then come race time, I would pull back a little bit. And I found it allowed me to know kind of what exactly to expect of the car, how it would feel when I started pushing it. So if you never push it, you're not ever going to know what you're feeling.
Yeah, definitely. You got to push your limits. So like you said, you're never going to know where they're at. And this is a fixed setup series. They're using the iRacing default setup. Unlike the open sets, where they can tweak and tune them to their liking, you're kind of stuck with what you get. And the plus side to that is you may be all over the place, but there's a good chance the 10 cars or 15 cars behind you are all over the place too. So it makes it a very fair playing ground to where if one car's loose, they're all going to be loose, and it just makes it a lot more even and competitive.
Fixed setups are always a little bit of a tricky thing for iRacing circles because some people like them, some people don't. The problem is every setup is different for every driver, no matter what you look at. Some drivers will like a fixed setup, some drivers won't like whatever you're running, and it's just how you all attack the corner or when you attack the throttle. However you decide to drive your car is really what your setup comes down to. So it's going to be interesting to see who likes this setup. And like you said, a lot of cars slipping and sliding all over the place. So some of the drivers who have, let's say, a light foot on the throttle who can make the tires work might exceed out here tonight.
Yeah, I can't remember who we were talking to earlier, But they were joking around saying they were going to drive 60 around this track, and that was going to be their strategy. Obviously, going 60 is going to put you several laps down very quickly, but it's like you were talking about. It's not about being fast. It's about being smooth and consistent. And you may not be the fastest one, but there's that chance if you're super fast here, you're already going to be really loose because this track is real slippery. And the more you run on these tires, the older they're going to get, the more worn out they're going to get. And we heard some drivers talking about earlier here in practice that those tires, when they pulled into the pits after a set amount of laps, they were completely destroyed. So that is going to make it a big challenge for these drivers here tonight.
It will make it a challenge. And the other thing, we watched Daytona. Not a lot of people were pitting for tires at Daytona. Here, after about 5 laps, a pit stop, fresh tires, even if it's right side tires, is going to make a huge difference.
Yeah, I definitely would agree with that. This track eats tires up, and it's going to, I guarantee you, we'll see. We got 25 drivers here. I would expect to finish with probably around 20, if not a few less than that. Again, you're going to see some people wreck. It's not necessarily predicting that. Hopefully we don't see that. Hopefully every one of these guys finishes. But unfortunately, just the way racing is, the beast that is racing, you're going to have somebody get into the wall, and you don't have unlimited fast repairs here. So eventually you're going to have some damage that you can't repair, and you're going to be out of this race, or at least multiple laps down.
That is not where you want to be, multiple laps down. 1 lap, you're all right. This is essentially kind of a short race. You only have 84 laps. If you're a fast car, you can get back a lap on your own, but you're hoping for cautions in the waiver rounds. And with everything that I've been watching in practice, if you get a lap down, I think you guys are going to be doomed tonight.
Yeah, definitely. The good side is, there's 2 sides, the bad side and the good side, really. The bad side is, if you do get a lap down from a wreck, your car is probably going to be pretty heavily damaged. The plus side is, if it's not enough damage and you only go a lap down, there's a chance somebody else will get some damage from a wreck and you can get that lap back. But if it's enough damage where you go 2, 3, up to 5 or more laps down, that pretty much seals your fate here tonight. You're probably not going to make that back up. If by some chance somebody does come, 5 laps down and gets back onto the lead lap, that would be a sign that we've had several cautions here, and that would be not what we want to see. We don't want to see a whole lot of cautions, but what we've seen in practice, it is a possibility. This, like I said, this track is very slick, and it is very unpredictable here tonight.
Atlanta is one of my favorite asphalt tracks, mostly because you've got to manage your tires. You've got to manage how many laps you put on your tires. Everything comes down to managing. If you are only focused on 1 lap at a time, turning the fastest lap you possibly can, and not focusing on the race, big picture, you are going to ruin your race in a hurry. And you might go out and think you're Superman on lap 1, but by lap 10, you are not. You are in the back, and you are slipping and sliding.
Yeah, and towards the back's not where you want to normally be. However, as slick as this track is, it could be a very safe place. If these cars get tangled up in the front, you very well could benefit from that if you have time to react. Unlike Daytona, where we were at last week, you don't really have a whole lot of time to react there. Everyone's so tightly packed together that you just don't have the reaction time. You have that reaction time here. In the event of a wreck, you have time to check up and let off, because you're only doing see about 175 versus 205 miles an hour. So they do have that little bit of a buffer zone to look out for all of that, be able to look out for cars spinning, and see what they're going to do, make their next move. And I definitely think if a caution comes out, probably say 15 or 20 laps in, I would look to see everybody on pit road here tonight.
There are going to be a lot of pit stops tonight. Lots of people are going to be taking tires. This track, like we said earlier, loves to eat rubber, and it will chew up a tire, spit it out, and next thing you know, you're going to be driving along, and you're going to get into your rhythm, and you're going to click off about 2 laps where you feel really good, and then that third lap you start to feel the fall off, and then the next one you feel another bit of fall off. But you're like, oh no, I was just me. I made a few mistakes. So you charge in on, say, your 5th lap, and that's when you get in trouble.
Yeah, and you definitely do not want to be out there in too many worn out tires. So if by chance this does go green, which we hope it does, that is going to be a big strategy we're going to have to be watching for these guys. Is pit strategy for fuel, because we know they're going to have to pit for fuel. So are they going to pit for tires or fuel more often? We'll see. I have a prediction they're going to be pitting for tires every chance they get, as you cannot get enough Goodyear tires on these cars. So fresh rubber, I think it's going to be the key to winning this race here tonight. Fuel is going to be a factor because they do have to pit, but like I said, I really think it's going to be a tire strategy. Who can take 2 tires, 4 tires, and who can come away with the win using that strategy?
You know, I am not a huge fan of Goodyear. I think they should have brought some Hoosiers.
Yeah, definitely Hoosiers would have been good. They're the tire of dirt cars, but some of these guys may want some of those Hoosier tires going through that infield where that dirt and grass is, as we're seeing the 53 of Carl Burke go through there now. But we got about 7 minutes here. We always have a tradition here to let us know who are you going to pick for tonight's win, for tonight's race.
Oh man, I'll tell you what, it's going to be a tough decision to make, because you can watch here in practice. If you have the stats up, you know, Case Hinkins, fastest car in practice so far, but is he going to be able to maintain the quote-unquote fastest laps throughout the entire race? Or did he just go out and burn one down? It's going to be tough to pick tonight.
Yeah, it definitely is. I did hear from around the garage area that somebody was saying Chris Sherburne was a good pick for a win here tonight. So we'll see. Currently, he's running back in 24th fastest here in practice with a 32.330. So he's got a lot of work to do if he's going to get up to a fast time, which again, Case Hinkins up top right now, that is a 31.501. So he's got a 1.462 second lead over him here based on fastest time. So he definitely will have to pick that up a little bit if he wants to get up there. Interesting one. I think I'm going to go, if I had to pick, I'm going to go with Chris White, who's second fastest right now in the number 35 machine.
Chris White definitely put on a very good show last week at Daytona. Didn't get the finish that most of us felt he deserved. He was a fast car, but you know, he still managed a good, solid finish. I don't know. I think you got a good choice there, but I'm gonna have to go with my buddy Jeff Stabnow. I'm picking him.
Well, he is right now 4th fastest, so could it be interesting to see if he can pull it out here. We've seen him spinning out quite a bit there in practice, but again, so has everybody else as we're watching some more cars go around. I believe that's the number 31 right there, taking it through the grass. But like I said, these guys are pushing it a little bit right now to find out how and where they can go, what line is going to work. And really, the key right now is, too, as we were talking to the drivers earlier in the pits before we went live, is they're trying to put some rubber on this track, too, and lay down some rubber and get this track a little more tacky so that they have grip on there.
The rubber laying down is definitely important. According to track stats here, practice started with 30% usage here in iRacing, and then each session will carry over from that. So laying the rubber down is important in that it's going to create multiple lanes of racing. And having the multiple lanes, you're going to see guys trying the high side. Some of the more, we'll say adventurous drivers might even go up there as soon as lap 2.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see here as practice is winding down. We've got about 4.5 minutes. What everyone's going to use, what line they're going to use, all of that is really unknown to us as, what line they're going to use. One of these lines, too, if you're pushing it, could possibly wear out those tires quicker. So, we could see somebody get up front and then fall back later because those tires are worn out. Or we could see somebody push it to get up to the front and their tires wear off once they get up there. That is all kind of stuff we're going to be watching for here tonight. It's going to be somebody that wins this. It's going to be that person that doesn't abuse their tires, but doesn't just underuse them either. You got to find that middle ground of not overusing them and not underusing them. And I think that's going to be the person sitting in victory lane here tonight.
Hey, Charles, is it too late to change my pick?
Not at all. We have not taken the green flag, so you're good to go.
I want to pick the 53 car of Carl Burke. Carl Burke, he's quickly becoming my favorite driver based on his sponsor alone.
He does have a quite interesting sponsor.
So Carl Burke is going to be my pick for tonight. We'll see if he has the stamina to make it through this entire event. Hopefully he'll be able to. But, currently 5th in practice, so it's not a bad choice.
No, he definitely could. And again, this is all going to be about who can hang on to it and not spin it out. I'm losing my voice there a little bit. So yeah, I do see so. We got about, 2.5 minutes left to go. So real fast, while we we don't have much time left, so we get some last minute stuff taken care of here on the broadcast side of things. Let's actually step away for a minute here for about 2 minutes, and let's go to the Crank It Up cam real fast before we get started, and let's let you see down close with these guys. So we'll be back here in just about a minute or so. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here, and next up is qualifying, as it is now officially out. So again, everybody going to be coming out on to the track here as we will go check in. Let's check in with Carl Burke here is coming out on the track, and that was your pick here. So we'll run along with him and kind of see what kind of times he can put in.
Carl Burke, my choice for tonight. But while Carl Burke is getting out there, I gotta say one thing. Let's get her done, buddy.
That is your signature move indeed, as Carl Burke is out on the track at the moment. We'll see what kind of times these guys can put in. We'll try to keep track at least the top 10 drivers here. Give you an idea of what kind of times they are going to put in. And before we go through the official lineup here in just a few moments. But again, I think we're going to see some good racing here tonight.
Going to be some great racing at Atlanta. One of my favorite tracks to be on, like I said earlier. And it's a hard track to qualify on, too. Because there is a very fine line. You can go out and lay down a heck of a lap and feel really great with it. But you just never know. Someone is almost always just that much better than you. At least that's what I've always found.
Yeah, it definitely is. You never can be... if you get satisfied with the time and you get content, that's when you'll start making mistakes, and that's when people will start getting faster than you, as people are putting in times right now. It looks like Brad Carpenter currently with a 31.584, as it looks like, yeah, there is going to be Carl Burke. He's actually going to roll that car. So he is going to have to go back to pit, as we're going to go check in with our current pole sitter, the number 31. Again, a 31.584. Carl Burke just rolled his car, so that is not going to be good. That's what you don't want to do in the race.
No, and I was watching his timesheet. He completed one lap and obviously had a little bit of trouble, as his lap did not register as an official time. And so now he is on his second lap. There's only 2 laps of qualifying. So Carl Burke, my choice in the very specific paint scheme. Looks like he's probably going to be starting in the back.
Yeah, and we're switching over here to John Ottenbacher. So this could be interesting. He's currently 4th fastest. So we'll see what kind of times he can put in. He's going to go through the grass too. Currently 31.817, as he's going to do some jumps through the infield. So it could be interesting to see who comes out here, as Andy Vogt now is going to put a 3rd fastest time in of a 31.754. So again, 3rd fastest. And we still have over half the field that has not put in a lap yet.
No, currently only 13 cars have scored in a qualifying time. Some of these drivers like to wait till the last minute, kind of give some, let's say, drama, if you will. But I'm not one of those guys. I like to get it done, get it over with, and then spend the next few minutes of qualifying time practicing. Because you can never have enough seat time.
Yeah, that is very true. And just as you say that, Case Hinkins, we talked about him earlier in the 21, just took the pole with a 531. So he was fastest in practice, and he once again here is fastest in qualifying.
Case was fast in practice, fast in qualifying, and he's going to be one to watch in the race, because knocking out 2 out of 3 so far as being the fastest, but is he going to be able to maintain that pace throughout an 84 lap race here at Atlanta, or as I like to call it, Hotlanta?
Yeah, it is very hot here, as it looks like right now Scott Mann is out on the track, so not too many drivers left here. Mark Walls is out on the track, so that's another driver we're going to want to keep an eye on. And Scott Mann took it to 2nd fastest here with a 31.543. So again, someone we haven't talked about we didn't talk about him a whole lot last week until the later half of the race, is now 2nd fastest here in qualifying.
Scott Mann definitely laid down a heck of a lap. Shouldn't be too much of a surprise. He was 3rd quickest in practice, 31.592 for his best lap in practice, turning a 31.543 here in qualifying.
Yeah, and another one we want to keep an eye on is right there. We'll pull up his driver bar. That is Mark Walls and that number 29 new leader Chevrolet. Actually, that's a Camaro. Yes, it is. So a Chevrolet Camaro, as he's going to put lap number 1 in there. So we'll see where he goes on the charts here. And actually, this may be his actual first time lap here. So he just got onto the track. So he's actually on his first time lap. So we'll just have to kind of wait and see what kind of times he's going to put in. Meanwhile, while he's doing that, jump over here. Chris White, my pick for the win here, just took it to the top of the charts with a 31.436.
Chris White, up front, no stranger to it. We saw him at Daytona running up front, doing a solid job. And, you know, Mark Walls turning his first lap is going to be sitting in 12th. Mark Walls was definitely another one that was up front. And you know, Daytona versus Hotlanta, two completely different tracks, two completely different driving styles, but some of the same guys are up front in both tracks.
They definitely are, and it seems like just about every week we come to here, we have a few people. Carl Burke obviously did try to put a lap in there, and it just didn't work for him. He did hit the wall and roll it, but Brandon Peters, Scott Hutchinson, Chris Sherburne, Brian Barnes, and Sean Freeberg did not put a lap in. So this could get interesting to see. Those guys may just want to start at the back here and see if they can't work their way through the field and avoid the wrecks.
You know, it's always entirely possible that, of course it's entirely possible, they're currently doing it. But I am not a big fan of that. Not here. I personally want to qualify. I want to be up front. I want to do all I can. I don't want to be in the back. Not at this track. I'm not a big fan of that strategy. But, you know, this is why I'm a broadcaster. I might have it all wrong.
Yeah, and then, like I said, that's why I'm up here too. These guys are good at what they do. They make very good decisions. Normally, anyway. Some of them don't pan out. They're still good decisions. They just... You know, with racing, stuff pans out. Sometimes a caution will come out and work in your favor. Sometimes it won't work in your favor. That is all part of racing. So it's all going to be a strategy game here tonight. As again, it looks like everyone's pretty much done. I guess it's going to go out. So we're going to wrap it up here for just the moment here, as we have about 2 minutes left. So we're going to step aside here and get to the national anthem, and we'll be right back here in just a minute. With your HRE Motorsports starting grid.
We take you down onto the track for our opening ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Please remove your hats.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous flight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right, we are back here. As you can see, they are gridding for the race. And I expect to see a pretty good race here. As always, minus the slick track aside, it is going to be a very exciting race. We get to debut some new graphics here, some new animations we've been working on, so definitely excited for that. But without any further ado, it is time for your HRE Motorsports starting grid. So KR, if you want to take us off with that, and I will finish this up.
All right, on pole, your quick time in practice and in qualifying, Chris White in the 35 machine with a 31.436. Good job, Chris. Meanwhile, Case Hinkins, second, front row outside with a 31.530. Scott Mann, Brad Carpenter, going to make up row 2. Jeff Stabnow, Brett Johnson, going to wind up in row 3. Row 4, Brad Cornell on the inside, Andy Vogt on the outside, and Gary Nichols and John Ottenbacher, will make up row 5. Those are your top 10.
All right, in row 6 is going to be Tom Green and Mark Walls. Row 7 is going to be Trent Alley and David Applegate. Another one we'll be watching here in that number 23 Intel machine, as always. In row 8 is going to be Dan Stuzzi and Mike Peterson. Row 9 is going to be Joseph Bissett and Trenton Barrington. Row 10 is going to be Kevin Geiger and Donald Swayfield. Heavily read that one, Swayfield. We'll clarify that here throughout the night if we can. Row 11 is going to be Brian Barnes and Sean Freeberg. Row 12 is going to be Carl Burke and Chris Sherburne. Row 13 is going to be Scott Hutchinson and Brandon Peters. And nobody in row 14, so that is going to do it here for your HRE Motorsports starting grid. And it looks like we do have several drivers here running onboard cameras. We'll get through to those throughout the race, as we do have several drivers. Again, Mark Walls and Jeff Stabnow, but we'll get to that here in a minute. Green flag's out, and we are racing for the first time here. Not sure.
Mark Walls looks to have stopped on track. Not sure what happened to him. We got a couple cars sideways here.
A very interesting caution comes out on lap 1. I did not see that coming.
The 96 Joseph Bissett already in the infield. A lot of contact on this start.
Let's go back and see if we can figure out what happened there. I'm not real sure what happened. We're a little late there to the caution, so here we're going to rerun just a bit more, see if we can figure out what happened, as we're from our blimp cam right now. They go behind the building. Hopefully they will come out from behind there. There they are. Not getting... This was... Oh, the 97. This track being slick. He just turns it into the inside, the outside wall. So did the 96. And the 97. Both of them.
The 31 flipped over as well.
Oh, a very interesting start there.
Brad Carpenter, our 4th place starter, flipped his car on the front stretch.
That is definitely not what these guys wanted to see here at the start of this race. Was that early of a caution? As we'll go back up to our race leader under caution here on lap 2. So not the best start here, but again, we were talking about how slick this track is. So the question is, did that play a factor in it, or did someone just spin their tires?
It wasn't just someone. I saw multiple accidents happen throughout the field. Like I said, 4th place starter Brad Carpenter spun his tires, caught the wall, flipped over, along with the 96 machine. Joseph Bissett did the same thing. No outside influences, all driver control. Both guys getting on the throttle, getting the car loose as they tried to accelerate.
Yeah, that it happens. It's not what you want to see. I would be willing to guess here, as I said earlier, if a caution came out around, 10, 15, 20 laps in, we would see everyone come in. 2 laps on these tires, I don't think we're going to see anybody come down to pit road.
No, nobody had a shot at actually warming these tires up. The only ones we'll see come down pit road is everyone that's got severe damage. And, you know, like I said, Brad Carpenter, Joseph Bishop, those guys will be coming for sure, getting that fast repair done real quick. And that's going to be a disadvantage to these guys already having to use a fast repair on lap 2.
Yeah, that is definitely not what you want to do. As it looks like, if we take a look here, yeah, there it is, the 89 of John Ottenbacher. Heavy damage to the front of that car. He's coming down the pit road. As we'll see, David Applegate going to come down the pit road too. So, like you said, a lot of these guys already having to get damage repaired to their cars. The 97, the 31, and the 29 of Mark Walls on pit road. So from about 6th or 17th on through the field of 24, they are all down on pit road.
They are. I'm not quite sure why Mark Walls, my race control says he was given an EOL. So I'm not sure what happened there. But, you know, a lot of things happened on this start. Things got a little bit crazy.
Yeah, and makes you wonder, maybe if they deemed him the caution, that's why he got that. He may have requested that himself to put himself in the back. You never know. Again, that was a crazy start there to start this race. But right as we went green, it threw the yellow. But, you know, we talked about it. This is a slick track. We expected the unexpected, or expected the, well, you know what we're saying. Yeah, expect the unexpected. That's what we're going for. And that's what I expected here, is some craziness. And it happened here on lap number 1.
It has happened on lap number 1. Coming to take the green flag. Some of these guys didn't even get across the start-finish line. But you know what? They're going to get another shot at it. We got 84 laps total to do tonight. And we're currently on, well, I don't know, lap 4, lap 5?
Yeah, on lap 4 right now here, as we will actually pull in our cautions real fast. We get new animations going on those as well. Again, we've had our first caution under 2 laps so far under caution, as I do believe the lights are off on the pace car, so we should be getting ready here. We still have 81 laps to go left in this race.
81 laps, long time here in Atlanta. The lights are out on the Mustang, or as I affectionately call it, the butt stain. And they're double file, the 35 and the 90 of Chris White, Scott Mann. These guys. Oh, and Race Control has just thrown an extended yellow.
We'll see here if we look back to the 29 of Mark Walls, Dan Stuzzi back there, and Joseph Bissett. All of these guys back here in the back of the field, they're trying to catch up with the leaders here. So they are going to have to do that and get up there and make sure they get to the leaders. So I'd imagine that's why that was thrown off. So they had time to get up there and they weren't lagging behind once we actually got the green flag.
So calamity, mayhem, everything you could want in a race happening within the first 5 laps of tonight's event. But hopefully these guys will get everything sorted out. We'll be able to go green flag racing, and we can really display some of the talent that some of these drivers have, because there's some great talent out here. It's going to be a great show.
Yeah, it definitely is. Again, right now your leader is Chris White. Obviously nobody's really had a shot to try to get by him. So that is coming up here. It looks like we should get the green flag this time. Again, wave that caution, or that restart off, so people can catch back up, so that they were not possibly going a lap down very quickly, which would have happened had they taken the green flag right away.
And I just heard once again that the yellow will be extended a little bit longer. Race Control not happy with what they're seeing so far.
Definitely. Well, while we have a minute here, let's see if we can't get a word in with Chris White, if we can pull him to the booth.
Let me see if I can't find him here in our TeamSpeak channel. Chris White, are you there? This is the broadcast booth, Chris White. You got a copy?
Yeah, I'm here.
There we go. So, first off, Not sure what's going on with that. You've led the most laps so far, but maybe you can give us some insight from the front of this, what the calling of the caution was for there. I know they're extending it a little bit. So something going on the track that we just don't know about?
I think we're getting ready to go back green here now. There's some technical issues, but yeah, we're going back green.
All right, well, we'll get you back up here in a minute if we get another cautions. All right, so there you hear the technical issues. So it does happen here in iRacing. We've seen it before, as it looks like we are just about ready here. Again, he said they are getting the green flag this time by, and there it is. Finally, green flag back out. So we are fixing to be racing here. A slow start, but once again, it is coming out, I do believe. And it's not. See, do you see the pace car coming back out?
The green flag has come out.
There it is.
The drivers have gotten to pit exit.
That is a very interesting start there. As again, they waited all the way to pit exit to go. And it looks like a caution is going to come out once again. And we have, this time, Jeff Stabnow and Tom Green going around.
I think there's some issues here with the iRacing side of things. I have never seen a green flag come out when the drivers are at pit exit. The pace car pulled off. That's the sign that the green flag's coming out. The green flag did not come out until the drivers passed the start-finish line and we're already at pit exit. This is just completely and absolutely insane in my opinion.
Yeah,
and I'm crazy to begin with.
We have seen crazy things like this happen just the other day with the TND Short Track Series. The green iRacing gave the green flag on the backstretch. So it's not the first time we've seen some crazy stuff like that. Again, pace car did dive off, but they did not get the green flag until the pit exit, which is very unusual. And again, these guys go off the green flag. They don't go off when the pace car goes in. So if the green flag doesn't get waved until then it's kind of interesting as to see what they're going to do. They have to follow what it tells them, and in this case, it told them to go green at the start or after the start finish line, all the way on the front stretch, which again, it's really baffling to us.
It is a little bit baffling, but I'll tell you what, some of the guys that had some minor damage who possibly didn't take a quick repair, drivers like David Applegate, he's currently in the pits. Several drivers in the pits right now, just doing some things, maybe getting some little bit of damage repaired that they suffered on the initial start of this race. So that's a good thing for these guys, but not necessarily very entertaining for us here. But you know what? That's racing. Sometimes things just don't work out right.
Yeah, and we're getting words in on the chat here from David Applegate that iRacing did indeed glitch, which we are kind of already confirmed here in the booth. Seeing how nobody starts at pit road when you start a race. So indeed, iRacing is throwing some curveballs at us. We kind of thought we would be dealing with some cautions, from people spinning, but who knew it would be for iRacing deciding when these drivers got to start the race.
They are, and a lot of people have gotten black flags as well. I'm seeing race control clear a lot of black flags from iRacing, so this problem that has happened is quite extensive.
Yeah, and like I said, not the first time it's happened. So this is going to make this race real interesting, as now we're already on lap 10, fixing to be on lap 11, and we actually have not completed a lap here, I don't believe, under green. So we'll take a look here at the cautions. 8 laps under caution so far for 2, so we have on lap 10 right now, so we've actually only completed 1 lap under green.
About 30 feet.
Yeah.
We've done about 30 feet of green flag racing.
And again, we are not knocking the drivers. This is not their fault. This is, it is not a caution fest by any means, because we haven't had any green laps to get any caution. This is strictly iRacing not knowing where it wants to start the race at.
It's been a little bit of a Charlie Foxtrot but these guys have formed up. Everyone looks to be ready. Lights are out on the pace car. I think we're going to go green this time.
I think so too here, as we are hopefully going to start the Walls Beard Co. Cedar Wood Beard Balm 125. This time we'll start lap 11. Everyone looks to be good to go, so we'll see if race control is happy and if iRacing wants to start them in the correct place this time.
Green flag in
that.
here. Here we go. Give a hand up for iRacing.
That was about time we got that started again. iRacing trying to throw more curveballs at us as if we did not have enough to deal with a really loose setup and a real slick track. iRacing wanted to get in there and say, no, we're going to do it this way, and they let us do it as we're already making it 3 wide for second place between Case Higgins, Scott Mann, and Brad Cornell, as they're going to kind of settle that one back out. No need to press that issue too early here in the race.
It is a little bit early to be going 3 wide, but Brad Cornell got a great run off the bottom of the corner. So sometimes you just got to take your great run and do something with it.
Yeah, and honestly, the way this race has been going so far with the cautions, from iRacing, having to throw them because it's starting you weird and doing funny things, you really want to get up to the front as quick as you can because you never know how many laps of caution you're going to have because of another incident like that.
No, and these drivers, everyone's been patiently waiting, but sometimes you just don't have any patience left. So when that green flag flew, it hammered down, baby.
And find it interesting here as we're watching a battle between the 53 of Carl Burke and the 20 of Mike Peterson. Looking behind them from 10th on back, everyone except for 2 people have already been on pit road. So over half this field has made pit stops already, and we're only on lap 13 of 84.
We have several cars also in pit lane. Jeff Stabnow is currently 5 laps down right now. He's still sitting on pit road. Andy Vogt, he's already a lap down, and he's got extensive damage. So these guys in the back are really suffering right now.
Yeah, it definitely is. Not sure what's going on with our driver bar. It's messed up there a little bit. We may have accidentally broke that. But yeah, Andy Vogt back here in the number 10 car, as he's got major damage to that. Chris White is still up front. And you see people only doing about 170 or so, maybe 160, 75 tops. These guys are maybe kind of pushing it a little bit slower than normal, but we expected that. They are definitely trying to conserve these tires, and they don't want to spin out because it doesn't matter where you are. You could possibly spin out here in this race.
You can get in trouble in a hurry here in the Xfinity car. Here at Atlanta, this track will jump out and bite you. Like I said a little bit ago, you think you're safe, you're going to push it a little bit, and next thing you know, you're in the wall, you've burned up your tires, you're coming off the corner sideways, you're driving through the pits because you got sideways coming off before. This track has 100 ways to jump up and bite you.
Yeah, and looking back here to 5th place right now, the number 7 of Brett Johnson. He's not one we talked about in last week's race, but he is here running in currently 5th position. But I believe your pick, Carl Burke, is coming up right now in the 53, and he's going to give him a run for his money. Again, that is for a top 5 position. He's actually going to take it fairly easy. I don't think Brett Johnson wants to battle him. It's way too early in this race with only laps 17 to 84. They're going to kind of take it easy here and just hang tight and see what happens later on in this race.
Brett Johnson way down the order in practice, but come qualifying, he managed to put it in a 6th place in qualifying, and that's where he's running right now, is in 6th place. So great job on him. Don't know what he found between practice and qualifying, but a good eye spotting him. Great driver so far tonight. Yeah,
definitely. And one we've talked about in the past that we haven't really got to talk about is David Applegate in the 23, as he's running down the 31 right now of Brad Carpenter. He is definitely giving them a run for money. That is back for 11th position. is, as I expected here, right now, early in this race, we're not going to have a whole lot of battles going on. They're kind of just biding their time, hanging in there, seeing where they can run. This race is really not about running your competitor right now, especially not this early in the race. It's really about figuring out where your car is good at, and then once you get your car set up, you know where you can run. Then it's about finding out, okay, I can run here good, I can not spin out here.
We got one front stretch in trouble.
Yeah, who do we got? Who?
I think it was Trenton Barrington.
Go back and look here.
No, I could be wrong. We got one on the apron through 1 and 2.
John Ottenbacher. Let's go back and take a look, see what if it was him. Well, just like that, we have a caution. Actually, no caution is out, I don't believe. So indeed, no caution did come out, but it is John Ottenbacher that's on pit road here. Not sure what happened to him. He's back on the track now. Got a quick repair done. So no caution come out. That is very surprising, as he's now 2 laps down. Not sure why a caution did not come out.
We had several drivers on lap 19 coming on. Let me rephrase that. Coming out of turn 4 on lap 19, get sideways, and one of them was Scott Mann, tagged the wall. He got in a little bit of damage, and there was another one further back behind Scott Mann who I have not been able to identify. So a couple laps in, tires wearing out, guys coming out of turn 4 just smacked the wall there, a couple of them right in a row.
Yeah, definitely, as we're on here, Scott Mann, he's coming back out on the track. He's going to use his fast repair, and we talked about him. I believe in practice he was second fastest. So definitely got a fast car, or he did anyway. He's going to get that fast repair done, but he's already a lap down, as well as Andy Vogt. John Ottenbacher 2 laps down, and Stab now is back out on the track right now, but he is currently 14 laps down, and he has got heavy damage to that number 24, a new leader, Chevrolet.
Yeah, Trenton Barrington was one of the guys that came out of turn 4 earlier. Like I said, that got sideways, got some damage. Scott Mann. So things shaking up. No yellow. Both drivers able to keep going in a manner that did not bring out the yellow. But the cars are getting very light coming out of these turns. We got another one sideways, the 20 car in the tri-oval. Definitely in trouble as he got through the tri-oval. Mike Peterson.
And he's still not done. He's still turning that car sideways. He's going to try to drift that car around, almost getting it to the inside wall. He saves it. He is stopped on the track, though. No caution coming out as everybody's going around him now. But again, no caution is coming out as he's going to gather it back up. And we saw this earlier with Stab now.
He's in trouble.
And, he does tag the wall, as that is not bringing out a caution so far. So interesting here. He is out of harm's way down there on the apron. So I do not believe a caution is going to come out, as he is going to burn those tires off trying to get that thing straightened back up. So we're going to go, and there's the caution finally coming out. But unfortunately, it's not for him. It's actually for Joseph Bissett in the 96.
iRacing will not throw a caution if you are not on the racing surface or the above the white line, so to speak. So we were watching Mike Peterson in the 20, and no caution would come out as long as you was playing around below the white line there on the racing track. But like you said, Joseph Bissett got in trouble coming off the corner, turn 4, not really able to ever gather it back in on the front stretch.
Yeah, and we are watching it now. Just a very slight tap to the wall, and that got that car all out of shape. I mean, just a few little sparks flew out of that car, and it got him way out of shape and ended up spinning him around. He hits the wall again, and that's what caused that. As we go back up to live here, we'll check in with Chris White, and everybody's coming down pit road this time. Everybody coming to get some fresh Goodyear tires here.
We've done some green flag racing, and I think it's been more than 5 laps of green flag racing. But yeah, everyone's going to come in, probably take 4 tires right now.
Yeah, definitely third caution of the race.
The 21 overdrove his pit, still backing up. That is going to cost the 21 of Case Hinkins several spots here on pit road.
Yeah, the 14 as well. Brad Cornell, he did the same thing. He had to back up as well. So several drivers missing their pit stalls here as we're going to come out of pit road here. And you'll see the battle coming out. Everyone's going to get out safe and clean. Not really any major battles going there. But looking up to the front, someone we saw in a wreck earlier, the 97 of Donald Swafield. I believe it's Swafield. He is now your race leader.
He hasn't pitted yet. He's made one pit stop so far this race. It was a little bit ago. This caution flag, he has not pitted. So not sure what his strategy is, but he might stay out there. He might pull in right here. Let's find out.
I would be willing to bet he's going to pull in, and he doesn't. That's surprising, as I really figured he would come in and possibly try to lead that lap. But right there, he's going to lead a lap. So my guess is next time by, you're going to see that 97 come into pit road. Again, that is Donald Swafield, and I would be willing to bet he is going to come in, get some fresh Goodyear tires, because let's face it, with the tires the way they are here tonight, that 97, he's not going to hang out there. 26 laps on those tires compared to 1 with Chris White. There is no way they're going to eat him alive if he stays out there, and he will definitely fall to the back.
Yeah, those tires are shot. Hopefully he comes in, takes tires. He did get the points for leading. He came into tonight's race in 24th in points. Didn't have the great showing in Daytona that he had hoped for. So trying to get every point he can. Not a bad strategy this early in the race. Get that extra point. Now stop, get some tires, get back out there and start recovering from whatever position you come out in.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll see if he's going to go in. As I would imagine he probably would. We'll see here if he is going to indeed come in. As he is not, he's going to stay out. So this could be a very interesting strategy. 26 laps on those tires. That is the oldest set of tires on that track right now, as everybody else has 1, 2, tops of 3 laps on those tires.
I'll tell you what, Chris White sitting in second. When he forms up on this outside line, he's going to be able to pull right around the 97. And it's going to be a good restart. I think it might be a good time for a little bit of a crank it up.
I do agree. Once we get that green flag, as soon as it comes out, folks, we are going to go to crank it up for you. And this should be a very good time for it. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully we get a good start. We'll see. Again, 27 laps on those tires for that 97 of Donald Swafield. But it looks like they are getting ready, so let's get ready for it. As soon as the green flag comes up, it's time for some crank it up, folks.
All right, Chris White on the outside, Donald Swafield on the inside. Here we go, folks, getting ready to go green flag.
And we'll see. Hopefully they do get it in a normal time here. We did seen it once, but I don't think it's going to happen here again. There it is. Green flag is out, and let's go crank it up style. All right, back there really quick. We had another caution come out there. As we'll see if we can figure out who that was going around. Oh, I'm not sure exactly who it was, but several cars going around, so let's go back and take a look. Yeah, not sure who this was. We had a wreck going on back here in the back. We'll see, there is smoke already flying. And it looks like it's
Geiger in trouble.
yeah, he looked like that was after the fact. Let's see, nothing 29. It looks like the 24 of Jeff Stabnow went around again. As we'll go back here and we're going to take another quick back here replay. It looks like that was too far back. There it is. The 24 Jeff Stabnow getting into a spin here. Getting involved in it. There it is. He hits the 0-2. He had nowhere to go. Again, hitting the 0-2 of Trenton Barrington. So, Jeff Stabnow just not having the race he wanted here tonight at all. And really, we saw him spin out a few times in practice, but that hasn't been the issue here so far. It has been more of an issue of getting into other people. As there you see, he just had nowhere to go. But run into Trenton Barrington as he was up on the inside, and just there was no space for his car.
Trenton Barrington tried to make a move on the 97 machine of Donald Swafford, who didn't take tires. Donald on the outside, Trenton on the inside. Trenton set up to go into turn one and just really misjudged the time that he had cleared of Donald, and you know that's what's led to this whole incident.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate. He may have a strategy, but again, those 32-lap tires are just not paying off for him right now. He has to come in and get some tires pretty soon. Or like I said, he has already fallen from first to ninth, and he's just going to keep falling. The further we get into this race, those tires are not going to keep holding up. It's unfortunate. This track does eat them up. It's not like Daytona where you can run, 60 laps on a set of tires. We heard about it. I believe they had about 80% wear on these tires on a good set of run, or a good run.
These guys, Atlanta for sure will chew your tires up. You gotta get some tires on when the rest of the field takes tires, and you are the lone driver who hasn't taken tires here at Atlanta. You're gonna get chewed up. You're gonna get spit out. And that's a little bit of what has happened here to bring out this yellow. But we're focusing right now, talking a little bit about Jeff Stabnow. Jeff came into tonight's event third in points. And, his point competitors, Corey Walters, Matt Henry, Brian Barnes, Joshua Cushman, none of those guys showed up. That is your top five, including Jeff Stabnow. And Jeff, the only one who showed up tonight on the top five, and he's having a rough night. He had a good chance to walk away with the points lead here, and this rough night that he's having is just not really what he wanted. He's gonna have a rough time to recover from this.
Yeah, and it looks like he does still have a fast repair, so his car looks pretty spiffy and clean there. Again, running that Walls Beard Co. new leader, number 24 Chevrolet Camaro there. Looks much better than some of the cars out here. Some of these cars look like they have gone through a war zone, but not his. He has got a fast repair done. And we have a new leader here as we're looking at it now. Brad Cornell is your race leader, and he has led 3 laps. Again, your main leader, the one that's led 30 laps of this race, is Mr. White. As we'll look back here and find where he is at the moment. Chris White, he is back in 12th position. So he's got his work cut out for him if he wants to get back up there. As it looks like everyone has pitted now. So the 97, no, he hasn't. He still has 34 laps on those tires. So this is going to get interesting once again.
Yeah, Donald definitely out there with 34 lap tires. Everyone around him, the most is 10 laps. So he's going to keep dropping through the field. Not really sure what he's going after here, but in my opinion, not the best of choices.
Yeah, and he may have some strategy we don't know about. That very well could be the play if he can hang on to it. Let these guys by and only have to pit one time. That typically can be a good strategy to let those guys by, but looks like we're getting the green flag, so green flag is back out once again. We'll see if that strategy pays off for him here. We'll keep an eye on him as he's currently in 11th with the green flag back out. Brad Cornell out front, and your pick, Carl Burke, running in second right now.
Carl Burke did a great job getting a great restart there. That inside lane started moving a lot better in the outside lane, but looks like Carl Burke going to lose to the outside here. We got one on the outside, the 6 machine of Kevin Geiger letting everyone by.
Yeah, he is definitely off pace. I'm not sure what's going on, but he is well off pace as he's going to let him all by. It looks like he's gathering speed back up. So not sure. Maybe he did not get to the back of the field in time, but everyone is going to pass him, put him 4 laps down now. Back up to the front. Here comes the number 21 of Case Hinkins. He's trying to get by Brad Cornell here for the race lead. So .166 separates first and second right now. And surprisingly enough, as slick as this track is and as worn out as these tires can get from just racing, just going around this track, they're really trying to pass each other right now. They're not holding back at all, and that is going to wear these tires out even more as the 21 of Case Hinkins is still trying to get by Brad Cornell for first place.
Case Hinkins proven that he can lay down a fast lap. Like we said earlier, fastest in practice, quick time in qualifying, and here he is in second, battling for the lead. But if we get a long green flag run, what's this battle going to do for his tires as he sits here challenging our leader, Brad Cornell?
And Cornell's going to shut that door. He's not going to let him by. So this could get interesting. Those two right there, you have to see the 21 of Case Hinkins. He's trying to get by. He's wearing those tires out, but he's forcing the 14 of Brad Cornell to wear his tires out too by making moves to block him and stop him from getting up there. You look back to third place right now, Brian Barnes in the number 4 machine. He's running by himself, running just a smooth line. He very well could get up to the front here. We'll watch here as we're on lap 41 right now, just about halfway here in 2 laps. Keep an eye on him. You may see him come to the front here as he watches them two wear those tires out pretty quickly here, battling each other.
I would like to make a correction. Brian Barnes came into tonight's event 4th in points, so he's having a great showing. Jeff Stabnow came in 3rd in points tonight, but not a great showing, so Brian Barnes doing a great job here, and he might walk away with the points lead.
Yeah, he very well could. And again, your pick right there in the 53, Carl Burke. He's putting a good run here together as well, back in 4th place. Those two could put a battle on later on. As you look back, right behind him is my pick for the race, Chris White, in the number 35 machine. Any of these guys here could possibly give those two a run for their money up there, as it looks like Case Hinkins is going to get by Brad Cornell. He let him by there, didn't really battle him. It wasn't much of a battle to watch. He knew better. Brad Cornell is a good driver, a very experienced driver, and he knew there was no point in trying to hold up Case Hinkins right now. Let him by, and then let him wear those tires out, and then reel him back in.
It's always a possibility, let someone wear their tires out, but I have found in these fixed setup cars, just because somebody goes flying past you doesn't necessarily mean that they're wearing their tires out. These fixed setups really do lend themselves to certain types of drivers, and Case Hinkins might be one of these guys that really likes this setup, can get the maximum amount of use out of his tires while turning the best laps.
Yeah, he very well could. And looking back here, we'll go back to 13th real fast, watching Mark Walls right now as he's still trying to get by the 7 of Brett Johnson. Let's take a minute here and let's go on aboard with him just for a moment here and kind of see what it's like behind the wheel trying to get by a driver here.
Pulling to the inside, going down the backstretch here. Mark Walls making that pass look easy.
Yeah, and you're watching him we're watching on board with him right now on that new leader on board camera. Again, you don't see him making a whole lot of movements with those hands. That steering wheel's not moving a bunch.
Oh.
As I say that, it looks like he may have just tried to avoid someone, or did he get into somebody there?
He made contact with Trenton Barrington.
Let's go back here. A caution is going to come out, so we'll go back and look at Trenton Barrington there and see exactly what happened.
As I'm watching my replay here, Trenton Barrington just got loose coming out of turn 4.
Yeah, we're sitting there watching. That is not... We've seen it in practice, but we haven't seen it. That's actually the first time someone's just got loose in turn 4 during racing. As there it is, he gets loose, hits the outside wall, and turns it around. And we'll see, there is Mark Walls again, full steam ahead, nowhere to go. And that's the thing that people may not realize is, as we go back up to live with your race leader, Case Hinkins, is you really have two choices right now. You either, one, hit him, or two, you try to lock up the brakes. You're going to bald those tires down, and there's a good chance you're going to spin out, hit him, and hit the wall too. So he kind of probably chose the lesser of two evils, just to kind of just let off the gas, run into him, versus locking up the brakes and possibly sliding it sideways and causing a bigger wreck on the track as well. It looks like he did slow down. Obviously, he didn't want to hit him full speed. He didn't want to hit him at all. But it happened so quick, you don't have a whole lot of time to react.
No, you don't. And these cars on the front stretch where you're in a constant turn almost, he just really didn't have a whole lot of options there as Trenton was spinning in front of him.
Yeah, and it does stink, as it looks like everybody's coming to pit road now. So we're going to get some more fresh Goodyears, which we did expect, as we are over halfway done with this race. Everybody coming off of pit road. And again, we'll see where they kind of stack up once we get off of pit road. As again, we're having battles here coming off. But back to the front, we have yet another new leader here. Trent Alley is your leader in the number 85 Coors Light machine. So yet again, another leader. So very interesting here. We've had 4 or 5 leaders, as we'll take a look at our cautions for you here, that apparently are not wanting to show up. I'm not sure where they would.
Donald Swafield, currently in second place, still hasn't pitted. 46 laps on his tires and back into second place.
Yeah, definitely. Well, the graphics, next level, we are working some new stuff, but 5 cautions, 16 laps, 37 laps to go. We've had 4 lead changes here tonight.
Well, I say that Donald is now losing spots. I am not sure what's going on with my timing screen.
It looks like Donald is going backwards. He's on pit road now. So he's going to relinquish that, give the lead back to the 14 of Brad Cornell.
Brad Cornell reassumes the lead, the 21 of Case Hinkins sitting in second, so we're pretty much picking up right where we left off.
Yeah, definitely we are. So I do apologize for the slight boo-boos with the graphics here tonight. We are working on some great new stuff, getting some animations in here, and we like to show it off here for the Northwest Series, as they are one of our top series, at least one for me that I do anyway. We don't try to pick favorites, but they are definitely probably one of the favorites that I do. Some great racing always. Some minor hiccups here at the start of this race, but that was all iRacing's doing. But right now we are going good, as it looks like we should get the green flag here in the next lap or two.
Green flag coming out, always a great time. Hopefully everyone's grabbed their beverage of choice, strapped in, because we're going to get some more great racing here when this green flag comes out. And, you know, the outside 21 Case Hinkins, I'd be looking for this guy to make a move here right now. I have a feeling he wants this lead. He wants to win. And he's going to charge this outside lane very well.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. They are. As here we are getting ready. I do think if we'll switch cameras here, I do believe the lights are off on the pace car. So we're getting ready to get the green flag. Yes, it is. Lights are off. So why not here if we got anyone up front? I don't see anyone up in the front that we have an onboard camera with. So we will just go here. Let's go, why not? Let's go crank it up one more time here as we're on a lap 50 of 84. There it is. Pace car should be diving off. Indeed it is. Put up your top three. Green flag is out. Let's go crank it up one more time here tonight. All right, we are back here, and it looks like, again, we have a caution out on the track. And I believe we were told the 90 machine of Scott Mann, so he is still stopped on track. Let's go back and take a look. So what happened to Scott Mann, again, in that number 90 machine? It looks like he was all good here. Oh, he gets it a little loose, gets into the outside wall in turn 4. And just spins it around after hitting the wall once again in the tri-oval. So heavy damage to the right side of that car.
That coming out of turn 4, jumped up, bit another driver, and Scott Mann was only on 5-lap old tires. What's plural for tire?
I guess tires.
Wow. No Latin, no fancy Latin?
Oh, not that I know of.
All right, well, we'll call it tires then.
And again, caution, Bike said we're on lap 54 here. So not many more laps to go. We still have a few, but not as many as we normally would have. We are going to try to do a quick fix here real fast, so give us 1 second. As those are your top 10 times right there. We'll put up our thing there. Let's see if we can't get on our cautions. There it is. Cautions out right now. We have had 6 cautions here, so you know, I thought we might have about that many. If we have maybe one more, that's kind of what I predicted. But so far we haven't seen a whole lot of those cautions for, you know, actual just getting loose. It's been multi-car stuff. I'm sure some of that could be the cause of being loose. But mostly I've seen people getting into like the outside wall has been the primary cause of the cautions here.
It has been, and that's kind of a product of this track, slick track, eating up your tires. And, you know, as you come out of the corner, you try to accelerate, you maybe get a little aggressive on the throttle pedal. And the next thing you know, the car is starting to skate up towards the wall, mostly because you broke the rear end loose and you're counter steering into that, and you just chased the car right up into the wall.
Yeah, definitely. And it looks like Case Hinkins has the lead once again. So it's getting interesting here. Brad Cornell still up there. Those are your top two leaders. Actually, Cornell and Hinkins are second and third, 12 laps for Cornell and 11 for Hinkins. White still has the most laps led here. He is currently sitting back in fourth position in that number 35 machine. So the question is, does he have what it takes to get up there? Again, fixed setup, so it's not like he can adjust a whole lot. So everyone's on the same tires here as far as that goes. About 8 laps, same setup, same everything. So the question is, can he get up there and have anything for Case Hinkins here tonight?
Case Hinkins been the one to watch, like we have said multiple times, fastest in practice, fastest in qualifying. Here he is on the front row, gonna be bringing it. The field is in his control, is what I'm trying to say. He's front runner right now. And, you know, speaking of that, we have 3 drivers who would like to mention have packed up and gone home. Our most recent one, Scott Mann, who we saw with the incident. Joseph Bissett has gone home, and Sean Freeberg. So all those drivers packed up, gone home.
Yeah, and one's not starting the race here. Brandon Peters and Scott Hutchings. Those guys never even started the race. So not sure if there was a reason that they did not start or just maybe weren't comfortable with the car here tonight. So again, they will start more than 26 drivers, which is what came into practice, as it looks like we're getting ready once again to get all of this started. Again, for anyone just tuning in with us, you're watching the Walls Beard Co. Cedarwood Beard Palm 125 here in the Northwest Xfinity Series. As that pace car sets its sails, it's going to turn off here in just a few minutes, just a few moments really, and we're going to get ready to get that green flag one more time here to start lap 58.
58 of 84 laps, and it's gonna be a heck of a show. I mean, we got Case Hinkins back out front. We got my pick, Carl Burke, sitting right there in 5th spot, and I wish I could remember who you picked, but let's be honest, I wasn't paying attention.
Well, that'd be the 85 or the 35 of Chris White here. And while we go on board here, let's go on board with Mark Walls for this restart real fast. Again, running on board with Mark Walls in that new leader Chevrolet number 29. He's currently in 9th place. He's working his way back up here, as you again want to see him barely turning that wheel there, and hopefully we can keep green here as we'll put up our top 3 for you here. Let's go on to Carl Burke, your pick, and we'll see how he's working that wheel thanks to the T&D Rustic Decor onboard camera. And you see him turning it a little bit, as it looks like the 35 of Chris White's actually going to get by him there to take that position here. So we'll switch back to our main camera. Indeed, Chris White will take 3rd position from Carl Burke. So our 2 guys that we picked battling side by side right now for 3rd and 4th position.
Brian Barnes sitting in 2nd in the Ford machine. This guy is trying his best to capitalize on Jeff Stabnow's struggles in this race. Brian Barnes might walk out of this with the points lead, and he is doing all he can to secure that.
Yeah, he is definitely. It looked like he blinked there just for a little bit. It kind of went off the screen. But again, that is the for Brian Barnes. Again, you said coming in here 4th in points, I do believe, and if he continues, as it looks like Jeff Stabnow is on the track right now, but that's the difference. Barnes is in 2nd position, and as we go back to Jeff Stabnow, he is currently in 22nd position. So that is definitely a big gap there, and depending on that gap in the points, that definitely could play a factor here. As it looks like, if we're checking it out, there's only 3 points separating. My bad, 1 point separating him. So yes, that is definitely gonna put Brian Barnes ahead of him in the points for 3rd place.
Stabnow languishing back in 22nd, multiple laps down. But as I mentioned, under that last caution, Scott Mann packed up, went home. So Jeff Stabnow has a chance to get around another car. And also Trenton Barrington, you know, Trenton's several laps down. Kevin Geiger, 3 laps down. So these guys are all within reach of Jeff Stabnow. But Jeff has got to get some work done to get around these guys. He needs a few more cautions, maybe some more bad luck with those guys in front of him.
Yeah, definitely is. Looking back up front here, look at the top 3 guys. Case Hinkins, Brian Barnes, and Chris White. Top 3 are right there together. 0.299 seconds separating first from third place right now. Now it's going to go up to 0.333.
And don't forget my pick, Carl Burke. He's just sitting there, just biding his time, waiting for these guys to make a mistake. That's when he's going to make his move. He's going to do his dirty deeds done dirt cheap. I think he's going to sneak in a win right here.
He very well could do it. He's just kind of biding his time, like you said, waiting. These guys right up here in those top 3, we're going to keep an eye on them because I'm not sure they're going to battle it out here. As you might see, Brian Barnes take it to the high side. Let's see if he can't possibly make a pass, but he is not. He's going to kind of lay back here. But he can't lay back too much because he's got the 35 of Chris White coming right there behind him. So you want to push it, but you don't want to push it too hard. But at the same time, if the guy behind you pushing it is even pushing it harder than you do, then you're kind of forced to do what he does. And that may be what we're going to see here in the next few laps.
I like the strategy that Brian Barnes has right now. He's running a little bit higher through 1 and 2 than everyone else, and about the same through 3 and 4. I like running the high line here at Atlanta. You don't put as much stress on your tires. You're able to maintain your speed and get a great run down the straightaway. But again, it all comes down to tire management. I like Brian Barnes running high here. I think he's got a good plan, and I'll be watching to see if this thing goes for a long green flag run. Watch that 4. He's going to be up front.
Yeah, and it looks like the 35 of Chris White is going to pass him. But those two are side by side. That right there, side by side battling between Brian Barnes and Chris White. That's exactly what the 21 of Chase Hinkins wants to see right now. Those two battle, they're going to wear their tires out. You get side by side, it wears them out a lot faster than it does racing single file, and he is going to capitalize off of that as they once again trade, and it looks like Brian Barnes is going to take second place back. But you know Chris White's not going to give it up. He's going to keep trying. He's going to put it in there and see as we're on lap 67 of 84 right now. Laps are closing down here as we take a look at that. It is... not sure where it again. We got it glitching out again on us. There it is. Six cautions. We still only have 18 laps to go.
As you're saying, 18 laps to go. The battle for second place definitely hot and heavy right here between the 4 and the 35. But, you know, as this goes on, is if we don't get another caution, if this plays out to the end, I am a big fan of running this outside line here. I think it's going to play into Brian Barnes' hands.
Yeah, it definitely will. But keeping in mind that there is one driver that we talked about a little bit ago. If you look right behind Carl Burke in 5th place now, Mark Walls. He has been up and down and just about all over this track right now. He was all the way back at the back, worked his way to 11th, then up to 7th. He's in 5th now. So don't count him out as you look at these laps. 33.058 to a 32.983. He's not that much slower on his fastest lap, and he is creeping in very fast. As we look just ahead of him is Carl Burke, but not by much. So he very well could be a contender here in the closing laps.
Mark Walls has found another gear, turning his fastest lap in this green flag run. So once this last restart happened, he managed to find another gear and said, hey, it's go time. And he's making it work. He's all the way up into the top 5 and looks to be closing in on the front 4.
Yeah, it definitely is. And that's still right there as we switch back up to Chris White. Once again, He has indeed, not sure why, they're still got some height issues going on we're going to fix out, but again, Chris White in the 35, he did once again get around Brian Barnes, so it's going to be interesting. We're going to be keeping an eye on those three guys really. Has the 35 of Chris White run up those tires trying to get by the 4 of Brian Barnes, and does he have enough tire left to get by Case Hinkins? As everybody on the track, at least in the top 10 drivers, have about 23 to 24 laps on those tires.
They do. Hold on.
And well, good not to cut you off there, but we actually have a battle for the lead going on now. Case Hinkins and Chris White. Chris White's taking it to the inside lane, trying to force the 21 up. And if he can do that, that inside lane is a little better. That outside lane eats your tires up more, and he's going to force him up there. So we'll see if he can complete that pass here.
Oh, my eyes were watering on that cough. I swallowed something wrong.
That is not good. Yeah, we need you here in the booth. And it looks like it is contacts made between Chris White and Case Hinkins. Brian Barnes is going to capitalize off that. But we have a new leader. Chris White is up front now with about 12 laps to go. They're going to have 11 to go at the line. So this lap is winding down, and Chris White is up front. And here comes now the 4 of Brian Barnes. We'll see if he can get by him and make a run. We'll see, did your race leader, Chris White, wear out those tires a little bit too early here tonight, trying to get by these two? That is kind of something we're going to have to wait for, as next time by it'll be 10 to go.
10 to go. Brian Barnes still trying to run that high side, but he's looking for any way around Chris White that he can find. Meanwhile, while these guys are battling out, Carl Burke running in 4th has closed the gap up. So it's about a 4-car battle for the lead here.
Yeah, and closing in a little bit at a time is Mark Walls back in 5th. But again, it looks like Carl Burke may try to get by the 21 of Case Hinkins here in just a minute, if he has enough laps to do it. And taking a look, it looks like maybe Chris White has pulled a little bit of a gap here, so we'll put our top 3 up there for you. He has indeed pulled a little bit of a gap of about 0.182 seconds. So a slight gap, but nothing major here. But it is growing. Now it's up to 0.299. So he didn't wear those tires out. He may just really start beginning to use them here in these closing laps.
Yeah, Chris White laying down some fast laps. His fastest lap time so far this race was a 31.603 on lap 31. But we made a pit stop. We've done some things since then. We're now on lap 75, and he's turning a 33.313. Meanwhile, Brian is turning his best lap time, 31.653, a 33.418. 33.522 last time around.
Yeah, and those two are right there together. As I was just watching the 20 of Mike Peterson went around there, but he was on the apron, so no caution came out here with 8 laps to go. I don't think we're going to see another caution here. If we do, it would have to be here in the next lap or two. Otherwise, we run the jeopardy of this racing ending under yellow, and nobody wants to see that. Especially not Brian Barnes right now, or Case Hinkins, Carl Burke, or Mark Walls that are running 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Obviously, Chris White might not be too disappointed, but I'm sure no driver wants to win a race under caution.
No, you kind of like to win them under green flags, so there's no doubt that you were the race winner. But Chris White, Brian Barnes pulling away now. These two guys did a good job conserving tires. And now conserving tires needs to go out the window. You've got to do all you can. You've got to eat up whatever you have left.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. It is go or go home time. You got to go to the front, as Chris White's doing that 0.399 second lead now as he is hanging on. All he's got to really do is run smooth, fast runs or laps here as we have 6 to go here, and we're closing in on 5 laps to go, so why not? Let's go to the wall cams here and let's put on a little bit of a show for you here with some new cameras that we have. Again, still 0.433 seconds ahead right now. Chris White has a sizable lead as we have a lap car of the 6 coming in. That is Kevin Geiger getting into the mix here. Could that lap car play a factor here in this race in the closing laps with 5 laps to go?
Jeff Stabnow on the inside as well. Kevin Geiger looking to be the next one that's going to get passed by these leaders. Kevin's run a clean race since he got in trouble. Every time the leaders have come around, he's put himself out of harm's way.
Yeah, he definitely has, and we'll see here if the 6 car is going to do the same. Again, he's 6 laps down. He's really no contender here today. It's not what he wanted to see, I'm sure. He wanted to be in the mix of things. He's putting on a valiant effort here to hang in there and to finish this race. As the caution's going to come out, and it's going to be for the 02 of Trenton Barrington again.
Trenton Barrington in trouble. Also the 24, Jeff Stabnow, back in the pit lane with some heavy damage to his car after already using his fast repair. So he has just had a devastating night.
Yeah, definitely not the night he expected to have here, as we saw him pretty fast in practice here, and it looks like the 02 turn 4 just gets it out of shape, gets it loose, and gets into that outside wall. Really, he didn't have it too loose there. It didn't look too bad as he comes flying through pit road and into the inside wall. Had that wall been about 10 feet out, a little bit more, he may have possibly been able to save that. But again, you get into that wall and it spun him around. So I didn't really spin him, just threw him into the infield. It's a very dangerous wall. Again, used to we didn't have that safer barrier, and that gave you a little bit more room. But since it has been added, it cuts a few feet off this track, so you don't have as much room to try to recover.
Adding insult to injury on Trenton Barrington, he's going to get a black flag for an unsafe pit entry.
Yeah, it definitely is. So it's not the best thing to see, but again, it is a slap in the face from iRacing. You wrecked, your car's broke, let's give you a black flag on top of that as well. So it kind of stinks, but it does happen. With 2 laps to go, I think that is going to do it. We are not going to go back racing. So unofficially, it looks like Chris White will be your race winner here tonight.
Chris White winning this thing under caution as long as he can maintain pace speed. Don't know how much fuel he's got on that thing, but I have a feeling he's got more than enough.
Yeah, I would imagine so. He was in 35 laps ago, so yeah, if he doesn't have enough fuel, he definitely made a miscalculation on the fuel when he went in. But like I said, I do believe he has enough, as he's going to put that number 35 SimStar. Looks like I'm not sure if that's a Toyota. I'm not sure what car that is. I can't tell the grill too easy from the side here. But either way, he is definitely going to put it in victory lane here tonight as lights are still on. White flag is in the air with the yellow. So this race will end under caution here tonight. So Chris White is going to be your race winner here tonight.
Mark Walls definitely had a up and down race. Looks like he scored 6th right now.
He is indeed being scored 6th. The car itself looks like it went through a minefield, but nevertheless, you can still read on there that is the number 29 new leader, Chevrolet Camaro. So definitely not the prettiest looking car, but no one said a pretty car was a fast car, as he's now again going to finish in 6th place. So a good run for him. Definitely a lot better finishing position than that car looks.
It is a little bit of a wadded up soda can there, but several drivers have damage throughout this field. But if you take a good look at our leaders, they're looking pretty solid and nice straight cars.
Yeah, they definitely are. And then that's kind of what it came down to, is these were the guys up here as the checkered flags do come out. So again, your race winner is going to be Chris White right there, officially making it happen. So he's going to get a little love tap possibly there. I thought he was from the 4. So that's it. That's going to do the race here. But we're not done just yet. We still have to get to the post-race show. So definitely hang tight with us, and we'll be right back here in just a minute with your post-race show.
All right, guys, welcome back. We have the post-race show, and we are going to start with my pick for tonight's event, 4th place finisher Carl Burke. Mr. Burke, are you there?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, Mr. Burke, great job tonight. I picked you to win this one. You brought it home 4th. Ain't mad at you for that, but congratulations on that. Give us a little bit of a rundown of your race and kind of what you saw out there and how you managed to finish this thing in 4th.
Yeah, I started last in the back there and just threw attrition and worked my way up. But it was slick. It was bad. And there towards the end, we were all slipping and sliding real bad. I think I was faster than Case, but I wasn't going to kill us to get around him.
Now, Carl, like you said, you started in the back. You started 23rd, managed to make it through 4th. How often did these yellows help you, or do you think you had just a good strategy that got you there?
Well, I just played it along. I figured attrition would help me out quite a bit, and it did there early on, got me some track position, so that worked out to my advantage, yeah. And in practice, I was always in the top 5 fastest, so I figured if I could get up somewhere towards the front, I'd be all right.
Well, again, congratulations, 4th place finish. You know what? I'm glad I picked you. You made me proud. Started 23rd, made it up to 4th. Any sponsors, people you'd like to thank for this?
I'd just like to thank Highway and Waltz, Beard, and all the people that are associated with sponsoring this. I can't think of all the names right now. I'm sorry. But, yeah, just everybody that has anything to do with keeping us going and supporting us is just wonderful. Thanks.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Carl.
All right. Jumping up we don't have Brian Barnes here with us. So finishing in 3rd place here tonight, we do have Case Hinkins. First off, you put a heck of a run together here. Probably one of the few cars that didn't have a whole lot of damage on it. Was there any secret to trying to get through this race without getting a lot of damage? We know it was a very slick track.
I don't know if it was a secret, but the strategy I employed was just trying to stay up front, not fall back, and hang on to it. Man, it was slick out there, I tell you what. It
definitely is a very slick track. We know tires were a big factor here. Obviously, we saw some people. Everyone finished this race with about almost 40 laps on their tires. So we're curious. So had we had a caution in between there, you think you would have came in and got some fresh tires, or was track position too valuable out there as well?
I think if a caution happened with about 10 to 15 to go, I think you would have seen all the front runners come in. I certainly would have been one of them. That probably would have been my only chance at coming home with a first place or second place finish. I think I had a top 4 car, and we finished about where we should have finished, but nobody had anything for the 35.
Well, definitely he put a heck of a run together here. You led 28 laps here, though. You led the second most laps, so you can't be too unhappy about that. And I'm sure it will help you quite a bit in the points. But any sponsors or shout-outs you want to give for that third-place finisher tonight?
I just want to give a shout out to the Northwest League. This is only my second race running with them, and also Walls Beard Co. And again, I'm not completely familiar with all the sponsors as of yet, but huge thanks to everybody that helps put this together. So it's a great league. I'm having fun so far.
All right. Well, again, congrats on a third place. Again, we don't have second place with us here, Brian Barnes. So unfortunate for that, but we do have our race winner. We just got done watching burn the tires off that number 35 car there, and that is Chris White. So first off, you were my pick, and you did me good. You put it in victory lane here tonight. So first off, for this track itself, long story short, it's a pain in the butt. It is a hard track to race at. It was slick. It was all over the place. People spinning all over the place. What was it like to put it in victory lane here tonight?
You know, it's tough. Atlanta's a tough track. It burns tires, especially the right front tire. I honestly don't know how I held on to it. Those last few laps, I was really fighting hard with the 4 and the 21. Thankfully, I made it.
You definitely did. You led 42 laps, so you led a lap. You led the most laps, so you get some bonus points on that end. Hopefully it'll get you pretty good up in the points. We'll see where it all stacks up. I know we were looking, if I do recall, Corey Walters was not here, Matt Henry was not here, as well as Josh Cushman not here. So that's 3 people ahead of you. You're currently tied for 5th. So if all is done, you should be in the top 3 in the point standings when this all kind of fades itself out and we get all that done. So looking forward to next week. Can't remember right offhand what track it is. We'll take a look here real fast. Going to Las Vegas next week for 100 laps. So what is a difference between that track and this track that you're going to have to kind of change and change your game plan for?
You know, I don't think Las Vegas burns tires as bad as Atlanta does. I like Las Vegas. You got some bumps to deal with. I think down in turn 1, 2. I've won there in the trucks in the past. It's a fun track to run. But it's Las Vegas. You got to gamble.
This is true. I believe it is called Roll the Dice 100 or something like that. So that we maybe see some people doing that, rolling that dice to see if they can't get a win. Before we believe, y'all run the chase format, so yeah, before we get into elimination round 1 back on, or in May 2nd, so you definitely want to get some wins racked up before then. But before we sign off here, any sponsors or shout outs you want to give for the win here tonight?
Yeah, first of all, I've got to thank Walt's Beard Company, Sanctuary Studios, Highway, New Leader, for putting on this series. They're doing a great job with it. I also just want to note that I got my newly created team, SimStar Motorsports, on my car, and so it's good to put them in victory lane too. Look forward to next week.
Definitely going to be a fun week next week. Again, hopefully we can get you back in victory lane again next week with any luck. Again, definitely did me proud. You were my pick to come to victory lane, and you did it here. You brought it home. So congrats on that. We are not done just yet, folks. Run through all of our unofficial race results real fast. Again, barring any race control issues. Again, coming away with the win here tonight is going to be Chris White, followed by second place Brian Barnes, third place Case Hinkins, fourth place Carl Burke, and rounding out your top 5 is going to be Gary Nichols. Sixth place goes to Mark Walls, seventh place Chris Sherburne, 8th place David Applegate, 9th place Brad Cornell, and rounding out your top 10 is Brett Johnson. 11th place goes to Dan Astuzzi, 12th place Tom Green, 13th Trent Alley, 14th Andy Vogt, and 15th John Ottenbacher. 16th
Carpenter. Kevin Geiger brought it home 18th. Trenton Barrington 19th. Donald Swaffield 20th, who ended up with connection issues, but a little disappointed with that because I wanted to see how his strategy would play out. Jeff Stabnow 21st. 22nd, Scott Mann. Joseph Bissett 23rd. And 24th, Sean Freeberg. And Scott Hutchison and Brandon Peters with a DNS.
Definitely not what you want to not start here. It is unfortunate, but for whatever reason they did not start here, so hopefully we will get to watch them come Las Vegas. But before we sign off for the night, folks, we do want to go through all the sponsors, of course, that make all of this possible on the MaxSpeedTV side of things. Of course, Sim Speed Shop, HRE Motorsports, Elite 7 Racing, Virtual2Reality.tv, Dirtco Media House, and of course Ohio IndyCar League, our newest partner coming on board. Big shout out to all those for sponsoring MaxSpeedTV here. And on the racing side of things, definitely Highway Equipment Company. They have two divisions or branches, you might say. One of those, of course, is Highway, so big shout out to them coming on board here tonight. And of course, New Leader, the other one of their divisions. Big shout out to them for coming on board for this league. And last but not least is Sanctuary Studios. If it wasn't for these partners here on the MaxSpeedTV and on the racing side of things, we would not be doing what we do here, and we do it the best. So again, thanks everybody for tuning in on behalf of the Northwest Xfinity Series and all the sponsors and MaxSpeedTV. We'll see you at the next race next Monday night at 10:30 Central, 11:30 Eastern.